Welcome fellas to another YouTube Clash Royale video on my channel. Today, as you can see, we are going to be ranking every single card in Clash Royale. We got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. So let's start right with the Spear Goblins. Personally, I believe Spear Goblins are pretty good. I mean, you could see them often last season. A lot of minor wall breaker decks, a lot of spammy Spear Goblin decks. They're just like a card that you can pretty much put into any deck. So I think I'm gonna put them into S tier here. Next up, we got Elixir Collector. Elixir Collector is, in my opinion, pretty bad right now. I don't think we need to discuss much about that. So it's either C tier or D tier for me. I think I'm gonna put it into D tier. Bandit is pretty good. Been played in a lot of bush spammy archetype decks, so I would put it into A tier. Definitely a pretty good card. Next up, we got Dark Prince. Dark Prince is like the same as Bandit, pretty good, but I feel like it's more versatile than Bandit. So I'm either thinking S tier or A tier. It's definitely better than Bandit in my opinion, just because you can run it in beatdown decks where you can't run Bandit. So I think I'm gonna still put it into A tier. So now we got Cannon card. Cannon card, pretty strong. Has been pretty strong recently. I definitely have to put into A tier at least, but I'm thinking S tier maybe. I don't know if it's that strong. I think I'm gonna put it into A tier because it's not played in that many decks. Next up, we got the Witch, which is pretty bad. And I know out there's probably some people of you watching right now and be like, hey, Witch is super good. But I have to tell you, as soon as you start climbing a ladder, as soon as you start getting into higher arenas, Witch is really not that good. It's only good in the lower arenas. I can understand why. There's a lot of spammy decks down there and she counters that well. Same with the Wizard. But as soon as you push up higher, Witch is just not that great. So I think I'm gonna go with D tier. Next up, Ewis. Overall, very, very solid card. I like Ewis a lot. I think I'm gonna put it into A tier. Next up, we got Cage. Cage is very, very versatile, super good and competitive. In top ladder, not that great. That's why I would put it into A tier. Oh my god, we got a lot of cards in A tier right now. Jesus Christ. Okay, Goblin Hot next. Goblin Hot, pretty bad. I think D tier. Same with Furnace, also D tier. Same with Fire Spirits. Goblin Hot and Furnace are just both way too squishy, and with Earthquake being popular in this meta, I just don't see them being good. Same with Pump. Earthquake just counters all three of them so well. Fire Spirits, I haven't seen Fire Spirits in so long. They needed a buff for so long, but they're not getting one, unfortunately. Okay, next up we got Goblin Giant, mostly paired with Sparky. Goblin Giant is not bad, but it's also not great either. I think either C or B tier. I don't know, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad at all. I think B tier. Okay, next up, Goblins. Goblins are just like a worse version of Skellies, which do a little bit more damage but cost more elixir. So I think I'm gonna put them into C tier. Definitely better than all the D tier cards, with no question. Okay, next up we got Graveyard. Graveyard, super strong, but you always have to have like a a certain like deck combination. So it's not S tier in my opinion. A tier. Heal Spirit has been very, very bad since they nerfed it. So I think I'm gonna go with D tier here. Hog Rider. Hog Rider's in a tough spot. Usually I would say A tier for sure, but in this meta with all the like Fisher and Bomb Tower and NATOs, Hog really isn't that great. So I think I'm gonna put it into B tier just because of the meta. In my opinion, it's an A tier card, but the meta makes it B tier. Next up we got Hunter. Hunter, very, very strong. You can play it in almost any deck. Super, super strong in the meta. That's an S tier for sure. Okay, we are Ice Golem next up. Ice Golem. When I have When have I played Ice Golem the last time? It's not bad. I think B tier would fit well into B tier, yeah. Ice Wizard. Ice Wizard is just like alone without Tornado, it's bad, but as soon as you pair it with Tornado, it's A tier. Infernal Dragon is hard to say. Definitely at least B tier. Just really matchup dependent. If your enemy has like Esport, Evo, Sappy, some Electro thing, or just has a spammy deck, Infernal Dragon is just completely useless, but sometimes it's Omega broken. So I'm thinking either A or B. Probably B tier. Okay, Fisherman next up. Fisherman super strong, but has been nerfed recently, so I think this is gonna be an A tier. Still very strong, no questions there. Knight is, in my opinion, super strong right now. You can play it in all of these control decks, minor wall breakers for example, or even graveyard. So I think Knight has to be S tier. Lava Hound next up. Lava Hound is weird to rate it, to rank it. Would definitely be easier to rank the other cards that fit into a Lava Hound deck. It's definitely not bad. I don't know where to put it. I think B tier, maybe A tier, not sure exactly. B tier, A tier. It has been super strong this meta. So I think I'm gonna put it A tier just because it has been strong. Next up we got Lightning. Lightning pretty bad in my opinion, but not like super bad. Still super good with Golem and RG, so I think I'm gonna put it into B tier. Next up we got the Magic Archer, my favorite card. Has been very good in this meta. Play it with minor wall breakers or Royal Hogs or even Pekka. So I think it's gonna have to be A tier. It's not quite S tier, I believe. Next up, Executioner. Executioner is not bad, not great either. It's gonna be a C tier for me. Next up, we got Dark Goblin. Pretty solid, decent card, but has not been played a lot. Just you only play Dark Goblin pretty much with Lockbait, and Lockbait decks don't necessarily require Dark Goblin, so I think it's C tier. But it could also put it into B tier. Let's put a C tier for now. G-Scality next up. G-Scality is super strong, very annoying to play against, very good in the meta. Has to be at least A tier for me. Mega Knight, same with the G-Scality, has to be A tier. Okay, our A tier list is actually huge right now. Next up we got Mega Minion. Mega Minion definitely a solid card, can fit into many decks, but it's never like the top pick you want to have into your deck, so I think it's more like a second choice, which leads to B tier. Next up we got Miner. Miner is super strong, super often played. Play it with Lava, you can play it with Giant, you can play it with Balloon, you can play it with Wall Breakers, you can play it with Pekka, you can play Minor Poison with Mega Knight, you can play Minor Poison Tesla. Miner is just so good. But oftentimes it's more like a support unit in that deck, that's why it's A tier for me. Next up we got Ghost. Ghost feels like a worse bandit to be honest, so I think I'm gonna put it into B tier. Minion Horde is a weird card. It's not bad, but it's not great either. I think it's gonna go into C tier for me. Okay, Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon has been stronger. Right now it is not that strong. It's still pretty good, so I think it's gonna go into A tier. Minions next up. Minions, same with Minion Horde kinda. They're just not bad, but not great either. Bob Barrel is pretty good. Very solid, pretty good card. I think it's gonna go into A tier for me. Ram is, in my opinion, pretty bad right now, honestly. You only play it with Pekka pretty much. You don't even play it with Bridge Spam anymore. In Bridge Spam you just play Ram Rider instead because it's better. So I think this is gonna go into B tier for me. Yeah. The E-Golem is weird because you always need healer and other cards for it to work. So in my opinion, it's pretty bad. But even if you pair it with healer, it's not that strong. So I'm gonna put it into C tier. Earthquake, very, very good right now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put it into S tier. Next up, we got the Mini Pekka, very decent card. I'm thinking A or maybe B tier. It's just that it's not really good in the meta, but it is a good card, so I think I'm gonna put it into B tier. Next up, we got the Mirror. Nobody ever plays Mirror. It's gonna be a D tier. Mother Witch is so bad. It honestly would deserve to be an E tier. Can we make E tier here? How does this work? Wait, how do we add another tier? Can we add another tier? Don't know. I don't think so. How do I add another tier? Whatever, I think I'm just gonna put into D tier then. My opinion, it's even worse than all of these cards. This tier Mother Witch is just so bad. Next up, Musketeer. Musketeer, very good, but not great in the meta. It's gonna be A or B tier for me, I think. B tier just because other cards outshine it at the moment. For example, Evis or Hunter. Next up, we got Pekka. Definitely not bad at all, but not great either. It's gonna go into B tier for me. Firecracker. Now, Firecracker is a weird card. It can be super strong, but sometimes she just misses her shot. She just misses her shots for no reason. So I think because of that inconsistency, I'm gonna put it into B tier. Yeah, our B tier list is pretty long as well now. Next up, Tesla. Tesla. What can I say? It's super strong with Expo. No questions there. But besides that, you never play it unless you play Lock Bait. So it's not played in like many decks, but in the decks it's played in, it's super broken. Hard to decide where it's going to. Either A or B, I'm thinking. I think I'm gonna put it into B tier for now. Okay, next up we got Balloon. Balloon, super strong right now, in my opinion. You just need one push and you win. If your enemies don't have NATO, it's almost a free win. So I think I'm gonna put it into S tier. It's just so broken right now. Next up we got Bomb Tower. Bomb Tower super great on defense at the moment. Has to be S tier as well for me. Bomber. Bomber is a weird card. Nobody like really ever plays Bomber. It's not as bad as the cards in D tier. So I think I'm gonna put it into C tier. Yeah. Next up we got Barpod. I think it's gonna go into C tier as well, because Barpod is better than Furnace and Goblin Hut. Next up we got Ebarbs. Ebarbs are not bad at all, but they're not being played a lot. Honestly, I think I would put them into B tier. Might seem a little bit high for Ebarbs, but I believe they're not bad. Next up we got Eastward. So Eastward is a little bit tricky. If Eastward wouldn't activate the King Tower that often, I think I would put it into S tier. But just because of that inconsistency in that activates King Tower, you can't play it in a few amount of decks. Like you can't really play it with minor control decks, because if they activate King Tower against it, you just are in a big disadvantage. So I think I'm gonna put it into A tier. Next up we got Expo. Expo hasn't been this strong recently, that's why I'm gonna put it into B tier next to Tesla. Poison next up. Poison definitely is strong. Fireball is stronger in my opinion. But Poison is still an A tier card, no questions there. Next up we got Prince. Prince is a little bit difficult. Can be great if your enemy doesn't have good answers to it, but it can also be pretty bad if you just play a lot of spam. Dark Prince is definitely way more consistent there. So I think it has to go either A or B tier here. I'm thinking probably B tier. Next up we got the Princess. Princess is only played in Lockbait, and Lockbait is not like super great right now. It's definitely not bad, but it's more like a rocket cycle deck, I feel like. But it's not bad. Princess is not bad. I think I'm gonna put it into B tier. Next up we got the bats. Bats are strong, but not that strong, so I think I'm gonna put them into A tier or maybe B tier. Don't know. I think B tier. Yeah, B tier. Inferno Tower is pretty bad in my opinion. Bomb Tower is just way better in most matchups. I think I'm gonna put Inferno Tower into C tier. Freeze next up. Freeze is... You can make great plays. You can make phenomenal plays with Freeze, but it can also go... So much can go wrong if you play Freeze. But it's I don't know. It's that surprise factor that really makes the card good. So I think it's gonna go into B tier. Yeah. Next up, Cannon. Cannon. You only play Cannon with 2.6. 2.6 not too strong, so I think I'm gonna have to put Cannon into C tier. Next up we got the Archers. Very versatile. Solid card. Good against Graveyard, good against Spam. Thinking either A or B tier for Archers. But I think A tier. Just because of the... Like, you can put them into so many decks. That's why I'm gonna put them into A tier. Next up, Mortar. Mortar is not bad, right? Mortar is definitely not bad. It's great on defense, to be honest. You can go on offense with it. I think it's just the meta that makes it kind of weak right now, but it's still an A tier card in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think you can do much wrong with putting Mortar into A tier. Next up, we got the Flying Machine. Flying Machine definitely very... in this meta, very good. Played in a lot of decks. It's either gonna be B or A tier for me. Honestly, I think I have to put it into A tier. Yeah, it's like between A and B tier. I think I'm gonna put it into A tier because it has been played so much recently in the meta. Next up, we got Lumberjack. Lumberjack really didn't shine a lot, but it's not bad. You played with Balloon, played in Golem, but that's pretty much it. So I think I'm gonna have to put it into B tier. Where did I put Mini Pekka? B tier as well, yeah, seems good. Okay, next up, Rage. Rage is pretty bad. I think I'm gonna have to put it into B tier or C tier. Yeah, maybe C tier. It's not like super bad. Still good with, for example, E-Golem or Sparky. Okay, next up we got Healer. Healer is not a bad card in my opinion, but you pretty much only play it with E-Golem, which is what makes it bad. So I think I'm gonna put it into C tier. Next up, Goblin Gang. Goblin Gang. Goblin Gang is just... You don't really need it. It's like costs 2 elixir more than Skellies, does around the same thing, and you got Spear Goblins. Like, oftentimes you just prefer Spear Goblins over Goblin Gang. But Goblin Gang is not bad. So I think I'm gonna put it into B tier because it's better than Goblins. Yeah. Makes sense. Next up we got Barbs. Barbs pretty much only played in Lavaloon. Not a bad card at all. I think I'm gonna have to put into B tier as well, next to the good old Ebarbs. Ram Rider. Ram Rider is difficult. It's not bad. It's not great. I'm just gonna put it into B tier. Rascals. Rascals is it's like the same. They're not bad, but just nobody uses them because if your enemy has a lock, they're just not doing that much. Really matchup dependent. But not a bad card at all. I think they're better than C tier, yeah. They're definitely worse than a lot of cards in B tier, but I don't think they deserve to be in C tier. Next up we got Rocket. Rocket is pretty bad right now. It's only good for rocket cycling. But I did put Lightning into B tier, so I think I'm gonna have to put Rocket into B tier as well. Okay, we get RG next. RG is, in my opinion, very, very strong right now. So, S or A tier? I think I'm gonna put it into A tier. Yeah, A tier. Next up we got E-Giant. E-Giant isn't that great in my eyes, but it's like around the same as Goblin Giant, so I think I'm gonna put it into B tier as well. Next up we got Royal Hogs. Royal Hogs definitely super strong in my opinion. Even though they get countered by a lot of things like Fireball and Bomb Tower in this meta, they're still pretty good, so I'm gonna put them into A tier. While recruits next up, also pretty good in my opinion. So I think I'm gonna put them into A tier as well. Yeah. Okay, Night Witch next. Night Witch, Night Witch, Night Witch. Hard to say, hard to say. It's definitely not bad at all. Is it B tier or A tier? I think I'm gonna put it into B tier just because of so many poison and Ice Wizard, Baby Dragon, Splash decks that counter Night Witch. Next up we got Clone. I think it's better than C tier, so I'm gonna put into... Or is it better than C tier? Yeah, I think I'm gonna put into B tier. Next up we got Skeleton Barrel. Skeleton Barrel hasn't been played a lot recently because Wall Breakers are just better. Wall Breakers outshine Skelly Barrel, but Skelly Barrel is still pretty good. I think I'm gonna put it into A tier. Fireball definitely S tier in my opinion, super strong, probably the best spell you could play right now. Next up we got Skelly Dragons. Pretty much only played in Lava Loon, that's why they're gonna go into B tier for me. Skarmy is super annoying to play against, but I don't think it's that strong. I'm gonna put it into B tier probably, yeah. I think it's better than the C tier cards. Next up we got Skeletons, definitely super good. Is it S tier or A tier? I think I'm gonna put them into A tier. Next up we got Guards. Same with Goblin Gang, just like a worse version of it. So actually I believe they are B tier, but I'm gonna put them at C tier because why would you play Guards? Why would you ever play Guards if you can have Goblin Gang or Skarmy or Skeletons or Spear Goblins? Just doesn't make sense. Next up we got E-Dragon. Pretty much only played an E-Golem. So it's gonna go into C tier where all the E-Golem cards are at. Next up we got Goblin Barrel. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Not bad. I think I'm gonna put it into B tier. Next up we got the Bowler. Bowler is hard to say. It can be good in these like Splash Yard decks or these Splash Yard Balloon decks. It's not that bad, but it's not getting played often. But I think it's still a B tier. Snowball is A tier in my opinion, just a pretty good, decent spell. Ice Spirit isn't that great at the moment. I'm gonna put it into B tier because you don't invest much with that elixir. For one elixir, it's doing a good job, but Skellies and Eastward are doing more. Next up, we got the Golem. Golem isn't bad at all. I think I'm gonna put it into B tier as well. Our B tier list is actually pretty huge right now. Okay, next up we got the Log. The Log. Log is very good. It does so much damage and the knockback is insane. I think I'm gonna have to put it into S tier. Our S tier list is basically like a legit deck. You could play like Balloon, Hunter, Bomb Tower with Knight. That's a decent deck. Next up we got 3 Musketeers. C or D tier. 3 Musketeers have been way better. Pretty bad right now. I think I'm gonna put them into D tier. They're just bad. Next up, Tombstone. Tombstone, not great, not bad either. So it's gonna go into B tier for me. Yeah. Next up we got Tornado. Tornado is probably the second best spell out there right now after Fireball, and played in basically any deck besides Lava Hound, I believe. So I think I'm gonna put it into S tier as well. I'm not sure exactly about Earthquake. Maybe Earthquake should be in A tier, but I'm gonna leave it in S tier for now. Okay, next up we got Valkyrie. Valkyrie is... it's not bad. It's just that Knight is, does around the same and costs 1 elixir less. So Knight just outshines Valkyrie there. Gonna have to put it into A or B tier. It's definitely overlooked. I don't think it is. I don't think it's bad at all. People just don't play it that much. So I'm gonna put it into A tier. Or B tier. Yeah, I think I have to put it into B tier. It's just fair. If Mega Minion isn't A tier, Valkyrie isn't A tier as well. Next up we got Wall Breakers. Wall Breakers, hard to say because you only play them with 2 decks. You either play them with Lockbait or you play them with Minor Wall Breakers, but they just make Minor Wall Breakers so strong. Minor without Wall Breakers is weak, but with Wall Breakers it's super good. It's like Wall Breakers are very, very good, but only in a very small amount of decks. But I think they are S tier for me, yeah. I think they're S tier just because of the damage. I also believe they need a nerf. They're doing too much damage right now. They have to be in S tier. Next up we got the Wizard. I mean, I said it earlier with Witch. People just think it's insane down in Arena 9, 10, 8. But it's really just not that great. But it's better than Witch. It's better than Witch, so I'm gonna put it into C tier. Next up we got Sparky. Sparky isn't that good anymore, luckily, because I really hate Sparky. It's like not bad. It's not bad at all. I think I'm gonna put it into B tier with Goblin Giant. Only makes sense. Next up we got the Zappies. The Zappies have actually been super great the last meta. They've always been like a bad card, like a C tier, B tier card, but recently they were really good. So I think I might put them into A tier. Yeah, I'm gonna put them into A tier. Next up we got Zap. I mean, it's not bad, but other spells are just better, but still B tier in my opinion. Delivery, same with Delivery. It's not bad, but other spells are better most of the time, so B tier for me. Giant is hard to say, because Giant has really been bad recently. You only play Giant Devil Prince, but I think it's still B tier. This is our last card. We've made it, let's go. Let me take a look. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with the list. The D tier fits really well. C tier, I'm super happy. I mean, I think there's a lot of cards in B tier which might be A tier, and some A tier cards might be B tier, but this is gonna be I think this is the best I got right now. So that's gonna be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate if you give me a thumbs up. I'm out. See you the next time. Peace.